up, y'all? Welcome back to Not Gonna Lie. It's your boy Fritz.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Dapper Dan. Welcome to the latest and soon to be the greatest podcast.
Let's get right into it, man. Let's talk about what happened the other night with Karl Anthony Towns and Joel Embiid. They was scrapping a little bit. They had a little tussle.
I don't know if that's a scrap. It was two. It looked like two big men that just wanted to hug.
They was hugging like
it was a real aggressive hug.
There was a lot of hugging, a lot of.
It was you know what it was? It was an uncoordinated hug.
You think?
It was like the hands were flying where they shouldn't go. It felt like a Family Guy. It was like a Family Guy short. But he was like, how do you do this?
Yeah, bro. No funniest man. Joel Embiid he tried to take my son eye out,
Nah, I bangs with that though, cause I'm the type of person. If we fighting, bro,
fighting dirty.
I'm fighting dirty. I would bite your ear off.
Nah, bro. That honestly, I wanted to see them, throw a few punches the way Rondo, Chris Paul was able to throw a few punches last year. That'd have been cool to see, but like we said, it was a lot of tussling. And my son Ben Simmons had Karl Anthony Towns in a headlock.
I saw that Karl Anthony Towns tap, bro.
He tapped out. Made a tap for the title.
He dead ass tapped out.
He was sick. But
nah.
I don't know when they're gonna play each other again, but I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, because it continued on to the gram. They took it down on the gram.
And I remember seeing this is not the first time that Joel Embiid has had something to say about Cat. It was 3-4 other posts of him after he's played the Timberwolves where he's basically just.
But he do be babying Cat though. He be cooking him sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
Like he said, he got real estate in that man's head, bro.
Facts. Yeah. And you know what's crazy? How Ben Simmons ain't get no fine, no suspension, nothing.
None at all.
That man had him in a headlock.
The whole headlock.
They were saying that basically he was a part of the trying to prevent it.
Facts.
So
he looked like an aggressor, but he looked like he was trying to prevent it at the same time. It was just a weird
I don't know.
dynamic.
Once I see a man tap, I feel like I don't know, man. I gotta give it to. You gotta find him or something.
I'm glad he didn't get suspended because at the end of the day, he didn't throw no blows or he didn't try to throw no blows.
True.
He could have been cooking Karl Anthony Towns on the floor.
Nah, I would have been waxing him.
Imagine if that was Brandon Ingram last year. He would have been wilding.
OD. I guess we're gonna have to get our fights in the beginning of the season. That's just the wave now. First couple weeks, first week.
I'm just glad that it's not the way it used to be, back in 2005, 2006 or whatever. If you fought, you get suspended for 25 games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He was missing half the season.
Half the season, bro. And that's because of the whole Malice of the Palace thing that happened in, was it 05? It was 05.
Yeah. 05. Was it?
I think it was 05. I'm pretty sure it was 05.
Yeah.
Because it was when the Indiana Pacers, they were still in contention. They had the best team in the East. The Pistons just finished winning the championship. And if you know about the Malice thing, you know. And if you don't, then I suggest that you look it up. But
it's easily on YouTube.
Yeah, easily.
Probably got 1 billion hits.
But I'm glad that the NBA, they're more lenient. And, men are going to get physical sometimes. They're going to, emotions are going to flare.
Definitely, because I remember they was, at a point trying to, figure out how do we police this, And I feel like they've done a good job finding the medium between letting them express emotions, but not letting it get to the point where, all right, there's a whole brawl. Yeah. I think the last brawl was Knicks versus
the Denver Nuggets.
Nuggets, and that was when Melo was on the Nuggets.
Yeah,
so
that was...
Melo wasn't looking good in that fight. I ain't gonna hold you. I saw Melo threw a punch and that ran to the coach.
I said Jeffrey tried to kill that man. Yeah, that was a time. J.R. Smith and A. Robinson was tussling. That was real wrestling.
Real wrestling. That joint fell to the cameraman and all that.
But since we're on the topic of basketball, we got to talk about Stephen Curry, man. Broke his hand. He's out they're projecting to be out for 3 months, which is by February around the All-Star break. How do you think that's gonna? Well, obviously it's gonna be a negative effect on the Warriors. How much of a negative effect do you think it's gonna be?
Not looking good. Because look, they was already not looking good as a unit together. So now you leave them basically just D'Lo, who wasn't doing too great this season to start, and Draymond to lead the team. And I don't know how that works. And Draymond, D'Lo, and then a bunch of rookies and people that players that don't have
nobody.
Yeah, players that don't have much experience. So for a team that I think they have 1 win on the season so far.
1-4.
1-4. So
1-3. 1 win.
1 win regardless. And I don't know how they win because to be honest, the biggest issue here this season was Steve Kerr had to actually coach.
Talk about it.
He had to actually coach this season. He's fumbling it. I'm not gonna lie. But how you feel about it, bro?
Well, I like to get factual on niggas, so I'm gonna hit y'all with some facts, right? So they 1-3. They have the worst defensive rating in the league right now, right? They're 30th. If they were to keep pace on this, like the defense that they've been playing, they will have the worst defensive rating in the history of the NBA, bro. That's ridiculous. They're giving up
Rockets.
Probably. They're giving up a lot, too many damn points, right? They lost 3 superstars in the last 6 games that have mattered. They lost Kevin Durant first, they lost Klay Thompson, then they lost Kevin Durant permanently, and now they lost Steph Curry.
That's terrible.
It's tough, bro. Like it's tough.
I don't really know where you find some wins. Like there's literally they weren't doing well before. They lost pieces they lost their wing defender in Klay. They lost their leading scorer in Steph Curry.
And it's like this was an experimental year to a lot of people with D'Angelo Russell coming to the Nets with the sign and trade. They signed him to basically a max contract. But it's like, what can they really do with D'Lo? Like I don't see them able to trade him. If that was the plan, they obviously said that it wasn't, but we've heard that before. For example, with the Giants and Odell Beckham, they said that we didn't re-sign him to trade him, but
the next thing they have, they trade him.
But it's like you can't really judge him and his value on the team if you don't have the stars around him or the complete team around him to really justify the means. It's like he has to literally wait till February for both of them. I mean, potentially he might not even play with Klay Thompson this season.
Yeah, I read a report that they're saying it's more likely that he won't play. But knowing Klay, he'll probably find a way to play. I feel like that's his character. But
I think it also depends on how the season is going, and it looks like it's going to be just.
Yeah, like I feel like there might not even be any reason for him to come back any earlier. And the way I look at this, I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's like it's low key a blessing in disguise, if you look at it in a sense, because I did listen to a podcast with I think it was Adrian Wojnarowski with Steve Kerr one-on-one, and basically Steve Kerr was mentioning basically like, you know, this year they can't run Steph into the ground, you know what I'm saying? Like, in this season, yeah, like, and it was looking like the season was going, that's what it was leading towards, like, to win any type of games, they're just gonna have to run Steph into, you know, the dirt. So him breaking his hand, though obviously you don't wish injury on anybody, it does give him that rest period to where, you know, he always had ankle issues or, you know, his knee here and there. So, you know what I'm saying? It gives him that rest and you're not really running him into the ground because he's going to come back February, play the rest of the season. They're not going to make the playoffs if it's looking like this season at this point, for sure. So with that being said, you've rested your superstar in a sense with another, you know, superstar to come back the next season to start afresh.
Yeah, when you look at it like that, like glass half full type of thing, that makes sense. It's gonna be very, very.
My thing is, how do you feel about Steve Kerr? Because from what he's shown, though it's a small sample size, he hasn't been able to lead this team. Like he literally said after they got blown out, I think it was the second, third game, we don't have an offensive identity. You know who also doesn't have an offensive identity? The Knicks, and that's a bad team. So, as much as I look at the Knicks, it's a bad team. So you're basically saying, yo, we're like the Knicks. Maybe worse.
I mean, honestly, Steve Kerr, I gotta give him big up to Steve Kerr because at the end of the day, he was able to bring that team to a championship in 2015. Even though he basically had the foundation given to him.
I feel like Mark Jackson had a lot to do with it.
But
obviously you have to still do your job the next season.
Like Mark Jackson, if it wasn't for Mark Jackson and the work that he put in those, I think 3-4 years as the head coach, Steve Kerr doesn't win that championship in 2015, and they don't continue to be the dynasty that they were in the last 5 years. But like you said, this is gonna be where we can actually judge Steve Kerr's coaching acumen. Like, can he really lead a team? You know, he doesn't have the pieces that he has been used to, has been blessed with in the past couple of years. So I honestly don't see them winning more than 32 games this season, especially after this injury. But we'll see how good Steve Kerr can coach.
All right, well, I mean, it's left up to be seen, you know what I'm saying? This is where, you know, because obviously we're not going to win, but I think Steve Kerr still has something to prove. But while we're talking about teams that are losing, we can bring in the Kings. The Kings, on paper, look pretty decent as a squad. You know, they brought Trevor Reese over there. That's a very good piece, glue guy piece to have, in my opinion.
I don't think he should have won, but that's another.
He probably shouldn't have, but they paid the man. They brought him over there. Buddy Hield is there. He was a budding. We saw earlier this season he was making noise for wanting a bigger contract, thinking they disrespected him for the contract that they offered him. De'Aaron Fox is there. De'Aaron Fox supposed to have a bright future ahead of him. And Bogdanovich.
Marvin Bagley.
Harry
Giles. They got a lot of prospects.
Yeah, they do. I mean, but
Bagley's hurt, but regardless.
Hurt.
But they started off the season, they have not won a game yet.
0-5.
So we obviously don't get to see much Kings basketball on TV, but what do you feel might be the issue?
Shoot, man. I mean, well, the one issue that definitely is the most alarming issue is the shooting. Like a stat that I read on Bleacher Report is De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Trevor Ariza, Bogdanovic, and Dwayne Dedman are all shooting under 40% from the field this season. You gotta get the goddamn ball in the basket.
That's the name of the game.
You know what I mean? Like they're all shooting terribly. Like I really don't understand. Like I personally would have to watch more Kings games, like you said, to really have a justifiable answer, like from my own opinion. But from the stats that I see, it's the shooting. It's like it's not working. The shots is just not falling.
Yeah, and I haven't seen any clips. I mean, not clips, any games of theirs. I would say that it's partially on the coach too, but also just the offense in general. Like, because you have to be able to run sets that get you better shots, or your players in spots that get them, you know, going, or you know, in a rhythm. Because that's what shooting, you know, that comes from. It's a rhythm. You know, it comes through the flow of the offense. So if you're not running plays, you know, because at the end of the day, sometimes you miss. But like 0-5 from professional basketball players, and they're all shooting under 40%, I'm putting that on the coach. That means your players are not in positions to make good shots. That means, though I haven't seen it, it's a lot of forced shots, a lot of ISO basketball, maybe a lot of shots that, you know, they got to force because the shot clock running down, you know. I don't feel that, you know, obviously, you know, NBA players got to find a way to score. You got to find a way to be great because you're a professional player. But, you know, coaching definitely has to come step in and say, all right, this is not working. We have to go do this. I don't know how much of a big deal Bagley being gone is, because I don't know that he's a centerpiece of their offense. I feel like it all runs cohesively, or it should run cohesively, being that they're a young squad. But I don't know. We'll see, because that's a real tough way to start, especially with Buddy Hield being, like I said earlier, with his contract situation.
Harrison Barnes got paid so much money. I'm still very flabbergasted at the amount of money that was given to Harrison Barnes.
I don't know how. There's certain players. One day we'll do it. Where like I do a discussion, like players that got big contracts, and we don't know why.
Yeah, question marks.
Like,
that's a topic for another week.
another week.
But you know, it's they're supposed to be set up for success aside from that contract, but it just hasn't been working. And it's like it goes back for me. It goes back to last year. I honestly did not agree with the choice of having Marvin Bagley pick second over Luka, Trey and De'Aaron. That wouldn't have worked. But imagine if Luka Doncic was on the King, like how they could have.
They definitely fumbled that bad.
They could have made that work.
They fumbled that bad.
You know what I mean? But I mean, they were the first team out. They were ninth in the West in the playoffs last year. I didn't expect them to start at no damn 0-5. And the fact that they started 0-5, you can't start 0-5 and make noise in the West. Like, it's too tough.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I do think they pick it up. That's my unpopular opinion. I think they pick it up. I don't know when or how, but I think they do pick it up, hit some steam. But I don't know if it'll be enough when all the chips fall together. I don't know if it will be enough when it's time to, you know, really say, all right, who's making the playoffs, who's not. Mm-hmm. But like I said before, we'll see. So off the Kings, something that's been kind of not bothering me, but like I feel like it's not talked about enough, is the fact that, not the fact that, but like the Rockets' game play style. They talk about it, but like D'Antoni usually gets crowned as being this offensive-minded genius, which he might be, may or not
Nah,
be.
he is, bro. I mean, for the last couple of years, I see the point that you're about to make, but you can't discredit the things that he did with the Phoenix Suns.
Never made it to the finals though.
He's still an offensive genius. He's an offensive genius.
Okay, I mean, we give credit where credit is due. I always do that. He did a lot in the past, but the game has changed. And I feel like, well, let's get into the more present. Last game they played the Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
And the Washington Wizards ended up only losing that game by 1 point.
159, 158.
The score was 159 to 158 in regulation. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like defense still holds some type of merit in the game of basketball. You have to stop the other team from scoring at some point. You can't just be like back and forth, which is pretty much what that was. Harden ended up scoring 59 points of their 159. Now, here's my little breakdown of that. I just don't feel like that's winning basketball. Like a team like the Washington Wizards that's as weak as it is, the best player on the team is Bradley Beal. No shame to Bradley Beal who put up 46 in that same game, but Bradley Beal is not, a top 10 player necessarily, in my opinion. He's not. Yeah, I don't even know if he's top 12, 15 really.
That's tough.
Probably 15, 20, I'd say.
15, 20 in that range. Definitely not up above 15. So for you to struggle with a team where their best player is not better than Westbrook, not better than Harden, and their team is not even as well put together as the Rockets, I feel like that's a problem. And that every game they played this season has been a close game. I feel like, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I feel like they haven't had a win with more than, 6, 7 points. Every game has ended within 3 points, within 5 points, which is alarming because it's the beginning of the season. Granted, you have time to get things together. Obviously, you're still gelling from, being apart all, summer long or whatever. But I just feel like D'Antoni doesn't focus enough on that, and which is why he'll never get over the hump.
I mean, I definitely agree. But granted, they're 3-1. So they're having success, early success.
Narrow success.
A win is a win, Mm-hmm. But the Westbrook Harden partnership is always going to be a little rocky. They definitely have to work on that. It's gonna be a learning process, a learning curve. But they're still, again, they're 3-1. But going back to what you brought up earlier with the whole 159, 158, that is asinine. That's ridiculous. That's just crazy. It's wicked. All types of words.
58 points.
48 minutes. 158, 159. That's double overtime numbers. You know what I mean? And where the defense at? That is very alarming. And the whole ISO ball that Houston has played in the last couple of years, even though it's a lot of threes, when that doesn't work, it's just give the ball to James Harden.
We've literally seen it not work, and we've seen James Harden not be able to capitalize.
It's not, you can't sustain that. And like I said, Mike D'Antoni to me is an offensive genius, but as of late, he hasn't proven that. He hasn't brought anything new to the Houston Rockets, and he has to when you're adding Russell Westbrook into the offense. It can't just be give the ball to Harden and everybody got their hands on their knees and wait for him to do something. It's gonna work when you need it to if you just do it in spurts, but if that is your game plan, it's gonna be tough for Houston.
See, Mike D'Antoni, I'm the type of person, you gotta show me something more than wins at this point with Mike D'Antoni.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We've seen that you can win, you can get to the playoffs. We've seen that since you started really being a head coach. You can get to the playoffs. You'll win basketball games. But now it's at the point where it's we've seen that. Prove to me you can win with this style now. Prove to me that all these years of you scoring all these points, running the same systems, pretty much, not same system, but conceiving all these offensive, minded teams, that it will work at some point. And I feel like it has to be this year, it has to be next year. It can't be much longer because I don't see his job. Because remember, it wasn't even last year where his job was up in the air after they lost to Golden State. Not for real, but there was tension. When they start talking about it, it starts to become reality for some people. So, you don't want to end up in a situation where, you stuck to your guns and you lost.
It's a partnership that's definitely a ticking time bomb. Especially, with James Harden and Russell Westbrook both turning 30. They're both over 30. They're not getting any younger. It's a win now league right now. It's wide open. They're going to have to figure it out. Are they going to figure it out? We'll see.
But in terms of figuring it out, you know who hasn't figured it out?
The Cleveland Browns.
The Cleveland Browns. It's sad because my favorite player, Odell Beckham Jr., the swaggiest player in the league, AKA Mr. Richard Millie.
That's ridiculous.
But yeah, he has one touchdown in the season. I think he has 35 catches.
That's wicked, bro.
The coach feels like he's targeting him enough. He gets
absolutely not.
He gets quarterly. I think it's 6-7 a game apparently. But my thing with those 6-7 is how many of those are errant passes or passes he can't catch or that were well defensed. Because basically, what is the problem, Eli? What is the problem?
I don't know. I feel like you have to pass the blame. Got to put a little bit on the coaching staff. Got to put a little bit on Baker Mayfield because Baker he has 6 touchdowns and 12 interceptions so far. He's over here walking out of press conferences. He's folding. He's emotional. They 2-5. It's not looking good right now. I had such high hopes for the Browns. You know what I'm saying? I thought they was going to win their division. Feel me? Probably win 10, 11 games this season. That shit is not going to happen, obviously. And just Freddie Kitchens' play calling is shit, bro. Only 1 touchdown for Odell Beckham? That's ridiculous. It's week 8. That's bullshit.
Bro, I just don't get it because they've been on TV a decent amount of time.
Mad times.
Because of obviously the team they had, the NFL made sure to put them on television, and they've been embarrassing themselves. And is it only Baker's fault in my opinion? No, because I feel like the O-line is trash, obviously.
Very weak.
But at some point, I feel like you have to, as a quarterback, find a way to get it done. You know what I'm saying? You have to know the playbook and be like, all right, this is what we got to check into this because this is what they're giving me. Mm-hmm. They're sending the pressure. I know my line can't hold up. Let's see if I can get a quick check down. Something that will move the ball at least. Every play can't be, hike.
He just be running.
The other play, the last game I seen him play, he couldn't even hand the ball off. He couldn't even hand the ball off, bro. That's some bad high school football stuff. That's the only time you see that, when you can't hand the ball off. NFL linemen should not be getting blown back that quick, that crazy. And then as far as getting Odell involved, Odell has thrown the ball before. He can run the ball. He's a playmaker on his feet. You have to find different ways to get him involved. It's not always have to be throwing it to him.
You gotta utilize that, man.
He's too athletic, too much of a playmaker for you to just say, yeah, we're okay with throwing to him 7 times.
There's so many playmakers in general on that team. Bro.
Yeah, because Jarvis is still there. I think Kareem Hunt is back now. They got Nick Chubb, who's basically been the only, if any, any lifeline they had.
I don't know, man.
They're so bad. I don't know how they got 2 wins, to be honest. I literally don't know.
Were you projecting them to finish this now?
What are we, week 8 now?
Yeah, we are week 8.
With the 5th pick in the draft.
Yes, but if I had to say it, I think they win maybe 5 games.
Damn. Shit. The way it's playing now, I agree, man.
Because I just don't see this getting any better. And then somebody, I forgot who it was. I think it was Louis Riddick I think he was on First Take. I think he said, basically, because Freddie Kitchens is a rookie coach.
Yeah, well, essentially.
It was, a rookie head coach.
Yeah.
And basically, Baker Mayfield is a second-year quarterback in the league. So I feel like Baker Mayfield definitely needs a more experienced coach. You can't have a coach who's never done this before with the player that only had half a season of starting and then comes into a new season basically as a starter, and like I just feel like that doesn't mesh together very well. Like it's too much inexperience on both sides.
It is a lot of inexperience, but I mean,
especially for a guy that was a defensive coach. And then
Maybe they're just a team destined to be bad.
Maybe the Browns just suck.
Browns is Browning, man. It's just bad vibes.
I'm not gonna lie, I never really liked Brown. I mean, besides like my skin tone, like I don't really like Brown, like. Yeah.
I don't know, man. But I mean, on the positive side of things in the NFL, which is a really cool stat, the Bosa brothers, Nick and Joey Bosa, they both won AFC and NFC Player of the Week, which is pretty fucking dope. With Joey playing for the Chargers and with Nick playing for the 49ers. Where do you see them projected, man? Like as far as like a career, who's gonna have a better career from what you've seen so far?
I feel like they're gonna have similar like ceilings, to be honest. Like they're both the same caliber of player, the same motor. Only thing that might change anything is injuries, obviously, because the NFL. But they're both gonna be, I can see them being up there as long as they stay with their respective teams. Which, if any organization is smart, would keep them both.
Yeah,
especially because they're defensive linemen, they're edge rushers. They, what I'm saying, those are very coveted like positions in the league. So I would say if they stay with their respective teams for their longevity of their careers, they should finish in all-time positions in their respective organizations.
But it's like from just in 8 weeks, this man Nick is. But like a lot of people are saying, he's not only the runaway defensive rookie of the year, but he's
might be defensive
player of the year. That's crazy, bro. Like,
and it's power.
Yeah, man, you jacking that?
Oh yeah.
No, but the fact that he's a rookie and he's doing these things, and he's a big part of he's a big part of why the 49ers are still undefeated. If I had to choose, like predict right now, I feel like Nick has the higher ceiling. But like you said, things happen in NFL. We'll see. And they're both going to be extremely great. But Nick is he's different, man. He's proven that he could have went number one. He went number two, but shit. That was a justified number two.
Facts. Real quick, what do you see what happened with J.J. Watt? He's done for the season once again.
That sucked. That hurt me because I've always been a big J.J. Watt fan. I'm a fan of T.J. Watt too. It's another pair of brothers in the NFL, which is pretty dope.
That's actually another brother in the NFL, but he played offense.
Yeah, but the fact that he went from basically being damn near people calling him the GOAT, like in defense, to not being able to have a healthy season in the past 3 seasons, really?
Yeah, I think.
It's
had
just
3
sucks,
back-to-back season enders, I think.
And from the way like things have been going with like injuries and early retirements, I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up.
Yeah, because immediately as he got injured, I was just like, damn. And then I thought about Andrew Luck, whereas he obviously retired due to just consistent injuries and just his mind couldn't get in the game. So it was tough. I don't know. I mean, like you said, I wouldn't be surprised to see like over the summer he's like, you know what? I've done enough. That's it.
We'll see, man. I'm hoping for some. I'm throwing positive vibes to my man JJ.
Yeah, shout out JJ Watt. But on to more positive news. The World Series has come to an end. I told you, by the way, because you was losing hope.
I was.
You was thinking the Astros was going to take it home. I said, listen, don't give up hope. And I didn't give up hope. I believed in a team that wasn't even mine.
Honestly, I was extremely salty that we lost to these motherfuckers. So, when the Nationals came back, they were down 3-2, right? 3-2?
Yeah.
They were down 3-2, and they ended up winning, in 7. I was extremely fucking happy. And the fun fact for this series, the away team won every single game. That's dope. And I'm just glad that they were able to pull it out and win the game 7. Yeah,
because like I said, I'm never gonna accept losing to like the winners.
No,
that's not. I don't take moral victories.
Fuck the Astros.
Yeah, and like shout out to like the Nationals pitching, man. The Nationals pitching, I think MVP was
Strasburg. Steven Strasburg. He's another fun fact that I read from ESPN is Kawhi Leonard and him are alma maters of San Diego State.
Yeah.
Or San Diego. San Diego, at school or whatever.
San Diego, I think San Diego.
And they both won MVPs for their respective leagues. This year.
Another fun fact: 2019 has been a year of first-time champions in hockey, in the WNBA, and the NBA.
Who won it in hockey? God damn it, nigga. Well, it's cool that, you know, the Washington Nationals and the Washington Mystics won the championship, you know, like a month and a half, 2 months ago. This man is fumbling.
Bro, because who watches hockey, bro? I seen the jersey, I was like, what team was that?
Was it the Las Vegas team?
Nah. Yeah, this is how much we give a damn about hockey.
Hey, man.
I do not care about hockey at all.
If y'all got some hockey stories y'all want us to touch up on, you know.
Yeah, so we could
help us out, because obviously we need help.
Cut that, but either way. start from this point, we'll start from right now. Yeah, so there's been in all these major sports, there's been new champions this year, and 2 of them came from Washington, being in the WNBA and the Washington Nationals. So that's pretty good, and a new team won in the NBA, Toronto Raptors, that's never won before. So it's been 2019 sound like a kind of year that it would be something like that, where like new teams would win.
All done without star power too.
Facts.
All 3 of those teams without like Kawhi's star, of course.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean, without like a super team.
Well, then again,
Raptors
no,
without a
because
super
the
team.
WNBA had the MVP,
Yeah.
the reigning MVP was on their team.
So
So
who else was on the team?
nobody really.
I mean, see,
But-
so
No, like,
no super
No,
teams.
no.
teams.
Because they pat Bryce Harper up.
Yeah, Bryce Harper, 13 years, 300 plus mil. He played for the Washington Nationals last year. He cut, went to the Phillies, and now these niggas won the championship. I mean, he got $300 million, you know, so he's not. I
Can
don't
you
think
really
he's
take
too
an L
bad.
when you win, when you get 300 million? Like, is there a loss?
It's not really a loss, but it's a loss.
I feel like there's a whole line.
It's a bad look. It's a bad
It's a
look.
bad look. You know?
Yeah, I would be salty just not winning, but I'm gonna sit back on the 300 million.
Don't beat Bryce Harper, but beat Bryce Harper. If that makes.
Yeah, like simultaneously.
Yeah.
Like, if
We-
possible.
That's how we going. That's how we going to end that episode. Don't beat Bryce Harper, but beat Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate it again. We appreciate all the
Yeah.
feedback,
Thanks for everybody that tunes in every week.
all the love, man.
All the
Keep
feedback.
sharing. And we're going to be back next week.
This is episode 6. See y'all later.